what are the operations here? So f of x times g of x is basically just saying I'm going to take f of x and I'm going to times it times g of x. So we take f of x and we say, all right, f of x is x squared plus 1. G of x is square root of x minus 2. Now, there's really nothing else mathematically we can do to simplify this. We're kind of done. Okay? So you can't distribute. We're done. But our main idea is, what is the domain? Well, here's a quadratic. The domain is all real numbers for f of x. Here is a radical. And we know, oh, man, we've been practicing this way too many times. You see a radical, whatever's under the radical, set it greater than or equal to 0. Right? So the domain here is 2 to infinity. So then what happens to the domain of a function that is all real numbers times a domain that is just only values that are greater than 2? What is the domain of this now? What happens when we multiply them? Do the domains multiply? Well, let's look at this function. Do we have any restrictions here on x? No. Do we have any restrictions here on x? Yeah. So really what happens, guys, is when you're finding the product of two functions, you just combine their domains and find the intersection. So let's look at what this would look like. This domain, 2 is greater than 0, looks like this. Everybody's OK with that, right? This next domain, all real numbers, looks like this. So the product of them is basically just including both of their domains. So what is the only interval where both domains are defined? Yes?
X is greater than or equal to 2.
Yeah. So the domain of this function is 2 to infinity. Because that's where both functions are defined. Right? You can't pick 0. You can't say, oh, the function is defined at 0. This is defined at 0. But you plug 0 in there, and you've messed up. Right? Or at least it's undefined. Right?